Good morning, social media friends, family members, and of course, people who I don't know as well yet, but for some reason, maybe we will be connected through social media. So I look forward to that. As I'm talking to you right now, if you are hearing any background noise, by that I mean some loud banging, I'm going to spill the beans and tell you why you're hearing that. It's because last month, given Mother Nature's anger at us, especially here in the Chicago area, yours truly was a victim of a frozen, busted water pipe. And because of that, right now, the banging, if you hear it, is because I've got a contractor here at my home on site helping me to put up new drywall, new insulation. And guess what I'm also doing for myself so that my problem doesn't happen again. I'm gonna share with you the same advice. Maybe this will help you as well. I committed to putting in a garage heater. Why? Because that frozen, busted water line was in my garage. It was in the ceiling. So I want to minimize that from happening ever again. For our episode today of Selling the House, for those of you who may be watching this as a live stream, all of my people here in the Chicago metro area, for all of my other people, family members on my mother's side of the family who are in the Boston area, I've got a wonderful guest who has been kind enough to share her time with me. And she comes from the metropolitan where celebrities like, here goes, Tom Brady, Ben Affleck, Matt Damon. There's another one, Mark Wahlberg. Who doesn't love Mark Wahlberg from Entourage, right? Come on, people. If you love Mark Wahlberg, Entourage, throw down a comment. Love to hear from you. So this guest of mine, her name is Bonnie. She's, of course, in the business of real estate. But having said that, she does so many other things beyond just real estate. She leads an organization, an association of her peers. And prior to her selling a lot of homes and maybe helping many of you sell your home or buy your home, she has a very interesting history. So with all of that said, let's welcome Bonnie into the room.
Good
早晨 Bonnie.
afternoon. 早晨，你好。
Oh, and for those of you watching us, in case you haven't picked up, Bonnie and I share one thing in common. We're both bilingual. Bonnie's probably better than me in speaking Chinese. She can certainly read and write. I'm illiterate in that sense. So as I'm going to develop a relationship with Bonnie, maybe at some point I'll catch up to her and I'll learn to at least write a few characters that might matter. So Bonnie, jog my memory and yours. We met each other at a recent ARIA convention, an Asian Real Estate Association convention in downtown Chicago. And I remember when that convention happened. Do you remember the weather kind of sucked?
It rained for the whole time.
I know it did. So we had enough of activities for the entire convention that was indoors, so we didn't have to go outdoors. But I remember this. Wasn't there a Chicago boat cruise tour? Did you participate?
Yes, and they didn't get canceled, so good for them. I did go out and find good foods regardless, because for me, every time I go travel, I want to make sure I find some good restaurants. I think my friends and we actually went to a steakhouse, and then we tried the Chicago hot dogs, and then we get dessert. It was like 3 dinners in like 6 hours. It was insane.
Good to know. So Bonnie, let me lead off with asking you this question. We met each other because we kind of like bumped into each other as we were trying to go up and down the escalator, getting to those sessions or
We caught eyes.
seminars. Yeah. And as part of, forgive me, bumping into you and Charlie, you were kind enough to say hello. We traded information, and then here we are today, right?
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about this. Before your career as a real estate broker, I remember this. You taught music education, right?
Yep.
That's
Yes.
a lot of creative stuff. I love that. I don't have that skill. Although I did play percussion in the marching band. So that's my only
There you go.
commonality.
Percussion is very hard.
Yeah, that's right. It's the heartbeat of the group, right?
Exactly.
So I was told, okay. So you have those creative skills from your teaching music education. And then, surprise to me, you spent a good amount of time in the financial services business.
Yes.
So very analytical.
Well, music and math, right? It actually makes sense. So don't be so surprised. But I mean, it's more so the fun job, and then the boring job. How do I go from one another? And I think in real estate, it's a perfect blend of the two, right? It gives you the freedom to improvise, and yet, it's a lot of numbers. So it actually makes sense. It make a lot of sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
What of those skills from those two career experiences have been so instrumental to you right now with all of your relationships, both sellers and buyers, helping them get to their next chapter?
So I think, being a music person, especially I love jazz. And I wish that, in Hong Kong, they teach everyone jazz a lot sooner. But most of the musicians in Hong Kong, we're like classically trained. So I feel like the creativity of being, a jazz musician really helps you open up to changes, to just kind of go with the flow, be a better listener, and as a teacher, you gotta learn how to guide. And being a conductor, that's all we do. You have to listen to everybody in great detail and create harmony and music.
Right.
And being a conductor is my favorite thing to do, So I played the piano since I was 5, and I picked up violin, clarinet, flute, and other instruments. So for me, picking up new things and doing different things is just fun. So I think when we go through life, you're allowed to be good at more than one thing, right? So for me, it's just a transition into a different mode of doing different things. And I think being a musician, being a pianist, is a very lonely instrument. But once you step into, playing with the band and orchestra, then, the teamwork really comes in. And I think that's why, like, I know how to step up as a soloist when I have to, and I know how to be, in the background when it's time to step back, just to be, making, the goal is to make music together. And I think it has a lot to come into what we do every day, is to listen to everyone, make sure that we balance that dynamics all the time and create beautiful music. But in this case, to make sure the transaction is perfectly seamless, is because there's always a lot of things that are changing. And for us, our biggest job is always to manage everyone's expectations and help, like, make sure no one is ever surprised about anything. So I think prepping our clients to make sure they feel like steady for the whole time is our biggest job. And as you all know, we basically therapists in this job as well. Yeah, so there's definitely a lot of listening, convincing, educating, and I really love every day of what I do.
Yeah. I'm sure you and I have our own individual stories of how we counsel. We have to lean in and actively listen. Certain things, maybe we decide, okay, I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to listen. When some of our clients may be about to walk off a ledge.
Yes.
Change their mind.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Or on my side of the business, you're gonna laugh. My side of the business, we have to somewhat consistently remind buyers of do that, don't do that.
Right. Don't buy a car, right?
Right. Don't buy an expensive car unless you want to live in the car.
Right, or expensive furniture. The wife goes crazy with like decorating ahead of time.
Right,
That's
right,
yeah.
right.
Someone got to tell them. I'm glad you
Yeah,
are.
yeah. So I understand now. Um, that's probably why you brand yourself the real estate quarterback, because much like when you taught music, when you directed a group of musicians, you have to make sure everybody's doing their part and playing in harmony.
Correct. And I
Yeah,
think building that team is so important, right? And of
yeah,
course, whoever the buyers want to work with, we are a team. But I will take it as my first job is to make sure that everyone is at the right place at the right time doing what they're supposed to do. So the
sure.
buyer, the buyers that I work with or my sellers that I work with, they understand that everything is going to be in place where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be. So we'll
Yeah,
have a successful touchdown.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, Talk to us about what's happening in your local metro area, Boston area. So, here to share with us kind of a local market update. Is it a seller's market, balanced market, buyer's market? Which one right
Yes, it's still a seller market, and I think the lack of inventories was the big reason why the price won't drop a lot.
now?
In the
Right,
greater Boston area, the price, despite of how the interest rate went up from 3% to 8% within a year, the price didn't really drop. You certainly see ugly houses sitting on the market for a lot longer, but if you
right,
price anything right, if you price it right, it will still go. But the A plus inventories, the single families is still the hottest. The kind of home that people are looking for.
right.
After COVID, people are still not really, completely coming back to the city 100% yet because they
Okay,
moved so far away to need, because they need bigger space.
right.
And I think in Boston, not a lot of companies, except for the bigger ones, they making you come back to work 3 to 4 times a week. Let's
Okay,
just say 3 times, because if
okay.
you do 4 days, a lot of people started quitting. Even making
Really?
them come back, like financial services. I still have a lot of friends who work for those companies.
Right,
They are, they're being told that if you don't come back 3 times a week, that you can get fired.
right.
And so I think, those people might be coming back to the city slowly.
Okay,
So the condo sale, if it's a very cheap condo, it will fly off the shelf immediately.
okay.
So in terms of 2024, I have to say I'm quite surprised that the market has been picking up so quickly. I think it's because the interest rate was at the 3, and then it jumped up to 8 last year, and
And
then
now it's,
everyone just stopped. So I think
yeah,
the market last year was it's a lot, it's not slower in terms of home sitting on the market too long, but it's more so there's a lot less home on the market. There's a lot less fire on the street last year. However, like when the rate gets back to around, high 6 to mid 6, it looks pretty good from 8, coming down from 8. So now everyone is like, wow, 6% is so good. Let's come back on the market, because they
yeah,
wanted to wait until the interest rate comes down. And of
right,
course, when the interest rate comes down, you got more buyers. And
right.
now the competition feels a lot like 2021 again, which I personally do not like, because I work with a good amount of buyers. And it's
Okay,
just painful to see that, they have to waive all sort of contingencies again, and going in with a clean offer,
yeah,
waiving financial contingency, even, they have a mortgage. So we're seeing that kind of stuff coming back. So personally, I don't tell my clients to waive their financial unless I know that financially they are strong enough to do that.
sure.
But I think, I'm seeing a lot of agents out there just casually do it. And I hope they know what they're doing, because, it's very high risk for the clients.
Yeah, my thinking when unfortunately some of our peers may be doing that, because despite the fact that you and I are both participants in a real estate transaction, you on the seller buyer side, I on the delivery of money side of the business. At the end of the day, we're also consumers. We sell and buy real estate as well. And I think when unfortunately some of our peers take the approach of Mr. Buyer, you should take all the risks, remove all of these contingencies. The downside of that is it's more about them and not the client. That's my perception.
Right. Yeah, so I think that my prediction for 2024, and a lot of people, also agree, is that it is going to be a lot easier than 2023. So luckily, Charlie and I work with my husband. We are a husband and wife team.
Yeah.
Like we had our best year in 2023, which is crazy because 2021 was the best year for us. Well, at that time, it was just me. Charlie came into the business in 2022 to support me while I'm doing all this, nonprofit stuff because, it is a passion of mine to give back to, the communities. And I was very grateful that he stepped in at the perfect time. So Charlie also has financial services background, and he was actually turning down a promotion to join me in my business. So I could pay this guy very well.
Yeah, you do.
I know he's not cheap, but he's worth every penny.
Yeah,
we love working together.
I know you give back a lot to your community of peers. You serve as a leader within your local association board. From your social media pictures that I certainly enjoy. Yes, I see you all over the place. I'm like, how does this woman get more out of a 24-hour clock than I do? But you know what, Bonnie, I will admit this. Women are superheroes. You guys can multitask so much better than men can.
Yeah, I agree, especially the working mothers. So I don't have any kids, my clients are my kids. But I have a lot of friends that I know, they have 3 kids and they still really kick ass on what they do, and it's amazing. I don't know if I can do what they do, to be honest, but I mean, so all my energy is into the nonprofits and my clients and my business. So has been a great life. Charlie and I, we enjoy eating out. We go travel a lot. I'm sure you see it on my social media. You always know what I'm eating every day.
Yeah. Hey, that's where with the business that we're in, which can be 24/7, you have to squeeze in the moments of reward, pleasure to for yourself, because no one else will, right?
Right.
Yeah.
We really enjoy sharing our joy and foods with great company as well. So we always, meeting up with our friends. So
yeah, wonderful. Because both you and I are on the cusp of celebrating Chinese New Year.
Yes.
恭喜發財。
身體健康，今年賺多啲。
係啊，你都係，你都係。
係，青春常駐。
Yeah. So for those of you who are watching and listening to our conversation today, if you are Chinese, if you're Asian, you obviously know what we just talked about. And perhaps, like us, you are giving out your hongbao, your red envelope. So, gotta ask you this question, Bonnie. Are you giving more hongbao than taking in these days?
Well, now that I'm a married woman, I'm supposed to be giving out, every time I see, my friends' kids. So, but I mean, we were talking to each other, the other day, and saying that even if you don't go out, now people send hongbao through, like, Venmo or WeChat. So you can't really just assume hiding behind the door is going to save you any money, because they will find you.
True. You still have to give it out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So my parents still give me hongbaos, right? Because, it's for good luck. And I will also, give hongbaos to them. So, it's just a very nice thing. It's the best time of the year. It's like our Christmas, basically.
It is. It really is. And by the way, I think I shared this with you. There is a social media influencer that I came across. By the way, her name is Angel Wong. Angel, if you might at some point watch this, I would love to have you guest in an upcoming episode. But that being said, because I don't have the pleasure of having her virtually in this conversation today, let me share with you what I know about Angel. So watch this video. Let's enjoy it for a few minutes.
Hi Angel. Do you want to make money during Chinese New Year? Well, I'm going to show you how in 2 minutes or less. First, know that during Chinese New Year, you can get cash in red envelopes. Yes, real cash. Why red envelopes? Well, it's because the color red symbolizes luck, and it's supposed to ward off evil spirits. So, who gives and who gets? Well, typically, parents give them to kids, or married people give them to unmarried people. Which brings us to who receives them. Kids, teenagers, even older adults who are still living at home with their parents. So, how much can you make? Any amount of cash is fair game. I've seen anywhere from $1 to $200. As a general rule, you likely won't see any amount of money with the number 4 in it, because 4 in Chinese sounds like death. But the number 8, on the other hand, sounds like luck. So you might get $18, $80, $800, $8,000. Who knows? That's why it's totally worth asking. Which brings us to, how do you ask for red envelope money? Well, in Chinese, you say, 恭喜发财 and smile. But if that doesn't work, you could always say, 恭喜发财 红包拿来. And that last part is a cheeky kind of way of saying, give me the red envelope. And it's okay to say it like that because kids do it all the time. So now that you know what to ask for and how, go do it. Find as many people as you can during Chinese New Year week and ask for your red envelope. The more people you ask, the more money you're likely to make. And if your family doesn't celebrate Chinese New Year already, tell them, I want to learn about other cultures and expand my horizons. You can even share this video with them and tell them Angel sent you. Parents, if you're watching this and you need a red envelope, don't worry, Angel's got you covered. I've got one on my website. All you need is a color printer and some scissors and some glue. You've got a DIY red envelope. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a happy Chinese New Year. Bye.
Well, she did a really good job. So cute.
Yeah, which is why, Bonnie, I went to her website after watching some of her videos, and I was bold enough. I messaged her through her website, with a contact me request. So I dropped in my request and I said, Angel, would you be willing to guest in an upcoming episode? And Bonnie, I was hopeful. I was so hopeful she would reply with yes, what time, where, any way she could have joined us, but oh well.
Oh, next time. We got to do this again.
Yeah. As we wrap up, got to ask this question of you. What's the biggest hongbao that you may have received?
I'm not going to announce it openly because I don't want the IRS to be, knocking on my door. So I would say that, when you get married, people, they that will be the biggest hongbao you'll probably get,
Yeah, that was the case for us.
Yes.
When my wife and I got married, we had a huge wedding, typical Chinese wedding. And let's call it like it is. We raised up enough hongbaos so that, hey, for those of you buyers out there watching us, buyers of Bonnie, buyers working with me, these hongbaos, this time of the year, when you accumulate them, they just might be your down payment.
Exactly. Yep. And put that money into your bank slowly, not too quickly.
Yes. slow drip.
Exactly.
Slow drip.
Anything over 10K, you'll get flagged.
That's right. Your financial services career. Yep. There you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sharing your time, learning more about Bonnie Lai, why she is your real estate quarterback in the greater Boston area. So if you are thinking about, right, it always starts with a thought. If you're thinking about selling your home, find a way to contact Bonnie Lai. She's the one and only. Just Google search. It comes up easily. If you are looking, if you are looking to buy your first home, your next home, because you want more space, and who doesn't? Because guess what? We accumulate a lot of stuff, right, Bonnie?
Yes.
Yes, we
Yeah, we
do.
sell about 40 to 60 homes a year. A lot of sellers are calling me right now too, because they know they're ready to look around now that the interest rate is lower. They're more
Right.
interested to sell as well, so they have somewhere to be. Because
Yeah,
now they think they can buy with the interest rate being lower, but it's definitely going to be competitions out there.
yeah. So, hey, if you don't have good or great representation, you certainly have not found your real estate quarterback. Look up Bonnie Lai, start a conversation with her. As we wrap up today's conversation in this episode of Selling That House, for those of you who may be a peer to Bonnie, a real estate broker in any metro area, and if you're interested in sharing your unique story, I look forward to starting a conversation with you so that we can figure out which upcoming episode for you to guest in. All you need to do is simply scan this QR code so that you can find me, so that we can start a conversation together. So as we wrap up, Bonnie, Kong Hei Fa Choi, I look forward to the next time we talk.
And to you and your family as well.
All right, good
Let's make a
selling.
lot of money.
Absolutely.